Who is God? What is God? And why don't we know more about them? Also, why are there so many different names for God? Like universe, source, creator, energy of all that is. These are just some of the questions that I'm frequently asked as a healer. And every single time I'm asked these questions, I have to take a moment to pause. Because in that moment, I'm being reminded of who God is to me. And to tell you the truth, the answer that always seems to come to mind is that God can be whoever you want God to be. He, she, God, goddess, good, bad, judgemental, or loving. God is literally everything and anything that you put that title to. So for some, this may be a hard conversation because we've been raised in a society that preaches about God in a certain way. So I'm going to ask you right now to open your minds and to explore the unknown, because that is what God is. God is an unknown territory. Now, I was raised in a Christian faith, and in this particular religion, we have been taught that it is only through Christ's sacrifice for us that we can be saved and that we can return to live with God again. So essentially, to have a relationship with God in the afterlife, we have to abide by the rules and regulations that Christ sets out, and we must devote ourselves to Christ. Now, I always thought this was a little strange, because why do I need to have a middleman in my relationship with God? Could I not go to God myself and create my own relationship with Him? And the response that I received to this question was pretty interesting. In the eyes of religion, I was unworthy of seeing and speaking with God. So for those that are following along with me right now, I want to let you in on this. I want to let you know that this is untrue. It's a lie. You don't need a middleman to convince God that you are worthy of having a relationship with Him. If you have to prove that you're worthy of being seen, heard, or loved by anyone, you shouldn't be pursuing that relationship. We're taught that in any human relationship, all that is needed is an open heart and a desire to build this connection. So why would it be any different when it comes to a relationship with God? That makes no sense. So, if you have an open heart and a desire to build a relationship with your higher power, nothing can prevent you from creating this. Because God wants to connect with you. Your higher power wants to hear your thoughts and your feelings. Your higher power wants to know about your desires, your dreams, and your aspirations. Your higher power wants to know about that bad breakup you had or the fight with your parents. Your higher power wants to hear about how much you love your friends and what they mean to you. And your higher power even wants to know your shower thoughts. So, I guess the moral of this story is that just as you have a desire to connect and to converse with your higher power, with God, God wants to have this connection and this conversation with you too. Might I add, does God know all things? Yes, God does. But does that invalidate the conversation? And does that mean that it shouldn't take place? No, of course not. Conversation exists for a reason, and just because someone already knows something about you doesn't mean that they don't want to hear how that experience was for you from your lips. Also, if they do mind, this is just a side note, if they do mind, that's a trauma response, and maybe they would benefit from speaking about it with someone like me. But that's a whole nother conversation. So, the only prerequisites for building a relationship with God is to have a desire to do so. Now, I'm sure some of you are questioning how this relationship is built once you have this desire. And I want to let you know that your connection resides within you. It is in every cell of your body and is in every cell of everything in creation, everything that is surrounding you right now. And I know this can be difficult to comprehend, especially when the social environment that we have been raised in states otherwise. But this conversation requires you to release those ideas, those concepts, and those beliefs that you use to understand the world. To release them and to give yourself permission to start fresh with a clean slate. And many of you will struggle with that. So let me tell you exactly what causes this struggle. Let me tell you what prevents you from having this conversation, therefore prevents you from connecting and creating this relationship with your higher power. Shame, regret, rejection, resentment, guilt, judgment, criticism, failure, and fear. These 9 topics are fueling every single limitation you place on yourself and everyone else. Which is, I guess, why I exist right now. Why I'm alive right now. Because my sole objective as a healer, therapist, and coach is to help you address all these issues that are causing you to believe that you are not worthy of love, that you are not worthy of acceptance, that causes you to believe that you are not worthy of compassion, of success, of joy, happiness, fulfillment, and peace. And all of the beautiful things that this life can offer us. Most importantly, my number one mission and objective is to help you address all of the issues that are preventing you from having a loving relationship with your higher power. Because it's your birthright. So let's conclude by heading back to the question that sparked this whole conversation. Who is God? If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, I invite you to go ahead and share it on your socials with your friends and with your family. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook by searching Malia Mekuli and, just letting me know your thoughts on what this topic has sparked for you, what this conversation has created within your mind, what new perspectives have you gained from this. But until next time, I'll see you later.